I'm building the most luxurious dog crate on YouTube because my bedroom looks like a college dorm room had a baby with a pet store. And these plastic crates sound like an absolute car crash at 2 a.m. in the morning when one of the dogs decides to simply roll over. So I'm solving this the only way I know how, spending a butt ton of money building a combination dresser dog crate with aged oak, brass hardware, and a custom leather interior that I don't know how to upholster. And after all of this, my dogs might take one look at their new luxury suite and decide to go sleep on the floor. There will be destruction, there will be gore, so let's hit it! This video is sponsored by Shopify. The plan was as old as time itself. Get a dog to practice for kids. A more immediate problem we have is in our bedroom. No, it's not what you're thinking. It's the crazy layout with a king-size bed and not one, not two, but 3 dressers. Add in a couple of nightstands, not one, but 2 dog crates because we got a dog for our dog, and now our room is looking more like a storage unit that we just so happen to sleep in. So I'm building a combo crate dresser to fix this. Will it work? Probably not, but I haven't started yet, which means I haven't screwed up yet, which also means I'm at peak confidence right now. It's time to be a masculine woodworker basking in sawdust man glitter. If I just But first, meet the cast of characters in my life. Rachel, my wife, who thinks
these dressers are fine.
Nugget, our confident and independent corgi, is also completely terrified of grocery bags. And Freya, our Icelandic sheepdog, has severe anxiety and a private therapist. Is this a happy family ready for one more? We'll have to see if there's room left in the budget after covering Freya's next Prozac refill. Speaking of budget, I mentioned in the introduction that I spent an inordinate amount of money on this build. All the poplar slabs that I'm milling up into the frame costed me about $300, which was actually a pretty sweet deal at about $3 a board foot. That's the face of someone who has spent the better part of 2 days rough cutting the slabs into oversized parts, resawing them thinner at the bandsaw, which, mind you, takes longer than Rachel does to pick an outfit, and then flattening and thicknessing at the jointer and planer. I should have just bought pre-milled poplar. So Rachel wants rustic farmhouse style. I want not that. But the more I thought about it, the more the bedroom made sense as the perfect place to let Rachel have her dream because, well, I'm dreaming 99% of the time I'm in there anyways. So I'm building something basic bitch shaker inspired. I'm feeling good, confident, like a professional woodworker who knows what he's doing. So I'm bleeding right now, and it was either one of 2 things that just happened. Either A, the dogs finally turned on me, or B, I just happened to have a kickback at the table saw for the very first time. Yeah, so that happened. This is retribution for all those who have complained in the comments over the years that I don't operate my table saw with a riving knife. Yes, I deserve it for not using a piece of safety equipment designed to mitigate the risk of a kickback from happening. But my table saw is old and cheap and doesn't have a riving knife, and splitters are annoying and get in the way, so here we are. I'm starting to overthink things, starting to think that my dogs aren't even gonna like this thing, and now I'm bleeding. If you're familiar with watching people make furniture on YouTube, you've probably noticed that everyone owns one of these. The Festool Domino. It's a $1,200 machine that cuts mortises for floating tenons, makes joinery fast, makes it easy. And the way people talk about it, you'd think it's the only way to join 2 pieces of wood together. Like before the domino was invented, furniture just didn't exist. People sat on the floor, ate dinner standing up. But I have good news. You can join wood without spending $1,200. I'm using dowels. Simple, strong, been around at least as long as YouTube has, I think. This jig is called the DOWELMAX. It's about $300 and it does the same job. I've tested the breaking strength. The joints are just as strong as domino joinery, and the difference is that I still have $900 left over for other bad decisions. If you want to learn more about easy joinery methods like this, or all the way up to more advanced joinery like mortise and tenons and dovetails, I teach that in my course, The Joint Academy, which is on sale right now for 50% off for Black Friday. That's the lowest price I've ever put it. It breaks down multiple methods only using tools that you already own for 12 different joints. It was an insane undertaking that I am super proud of since it's over 7.5 hours long. Again, for Black Friday 2025, it's 50% off, so now is the time to buy. This is going unbelievably well. I just bought a new car. It's a Kia Sportage, and I knew, it was gonna be pretty good off-road, but I didn't realize that meant the terrain is going to be my track saw track. Am I still going to use it? Sure. Does it cut straight anymore? I guess we'll find out. This should have been a simple thing if I had a bigger shop, but instead I'm in my driveway with a piece of aluminum that now resembles a big enough ski for a Sasquatch while I'm doing an interpretive dance. I call it the worm. This plywood cost me $212. It's Baltic birch, which usually comes in 5x5 foot sheets, so the Sportage was never gonna work. I rented a van to go pick it up, which made sense. Vans are for hauling large things. I got to the plywood dealer, I asked for what I needed, waited an eternity, and then walked around to open the back door to load it in, and it didn't open. Of course it didn't. One of the rear barn doors was broken, completely inoperable, so I had to load every sheet through the side door, and even on a diagonal, they barely fit, one agonizing sheet at a time, which is very dignifying. I can't be at fault here. I mean, who checks if the back door of a rental van actually opens? I mean, that's the whole concept. Van, a box on wheels with a big door in the back. Well, apparently not this one. Anyways, the plywood made it home, eventually, through the side door like I was smuggling it. The glue up is always the most stressful part of any build. Everything has to happen all at once. You've got maybe 10 minutes before the glue starts to set, and you need to get all your clamps in place, make sure everything's square, and make sure nothing is crooked. It requires focus, calm, and quiet, none of which I can achieve with the dogs around. I also did something smart for once. I glued up the side assemblies first, and of course, I used my old faithful glue dowel salad technique. Smaller glue ups, less stress, more control. When it came time to glue the whole frame together, I used epoxy instead of regular wood glue. Epoxy gives me about a half hour of open time instead of 10 minutes, which meant I could actually take my time instead of the old panic-induced permanently screwing everything up routine. And since I always kick Nugget and Freya out of the shop for glue ups, I was able to focus, keep calm, and oh crap, I forgot to check for square. I got the frame glued up with that incident, which, given how the rest of this project was going, felt like a small miracle. After cleaning up the post-glue up carnage, I could start thinking about where Nugget and Freya were gonna lay. I've been spending the past year jumping ship from one 3D modeling program to Fusion 360, and while my skills are slowly becoming less inebriated, I eventually reached a point in the drawing where I just gave up and started building. and in doing so, I left out some important details like how to add a bottom to my cabinet. Could I have come up with a slick encapsulated panel integral to the carcass? We'll never know, but I solved my lack of cabinetry buttocks by lowering my own woodworking pride and reaching for the I haven't taken Scott's joinery course brad nailer. Still doing 80s dance moves with the track saw, I moved on from pissing off one sect of woodworkers to another by hand planing my plywood to fix my track saw's inaccuracies. This guy don't need a straight track. Hell yeah, brother.
Probably open this.
Up until now, the true nature of this piece of furniture hasn't been quite revealed to you yet. Remember Rachel's furniture desires? Well, now it's time to really put the live, laugh, love into the pottery barn with this molding bit for the baseboard. Prior to this, I thought you had to prove that you were a boomer at checkout to buy one of these kinds of router bits, but it turns out that a millennial can buy one too. You just simply have to have no dignity, like myself. It must be true because it seems like I'm really loving this look. I mean, look at that smile. Oh, wait. Seems like I might have made a mistake again. Reporting live from his workshop, here's Scott Walsh. I don't think I've ever made such an inane, silly mistake in my life in the shop. I stuck the router bit in. I didn't even check what height it was at. I just threw it in there and just proceeded to run all my boards through for the baseboard. And now I can't change the height because if I move it, the profile's not going to line up. It's just not going to work. Unbelievable. I'm just going to go to bed. Wait, I'm not going to bed. I think I just realized something and I don't know if it's actually going to work, but what if I just do the profile on the opposite corner, like right here? Is that gonna work? I mean, the corners of this baseboard are gonna be mitered, so my mistake profile would end up being on the bottom inside corner, and I think once it's mitered on the ends, I don't think you're gonna see that. Huh. If you thought this was the opportunity I needed to skip the profile on the baseboard, well, think again. Oh, and by the way, a 5-pack of these bad boys cost me $71. Now, if you've ever seen a fish out of water, then you'd recognize that this guy doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to more basic carpentry style woodworking. I mean, what in the hell kind of excuse is that for a miter? Good thing this is paint grade. But also, nothing that globs of wood filler can't take care of. I mean, that's what finish carpenters do, right? Here is your sign to not try and use that 8-year-old can of paint.
Oh my God.
The only thing holding back that leak was some hopes and dreams and a congealed layer of shellac on the bottom.
Shit.
And if you thought that'd stop me from using it, you don't know me at all. I said I spent an inordinate amount of money on this project. I didn't say I wasn't cheap. Besides, it wasn't enough primer anyway, so I had to go buy another $40 can. Would it have been smart just to start with new paint from the beginning? Yes. Did I say I was smart? I don't think so. Let's add another $55 for a quart of expensive cabinet paint. That color is way too saturated, you say? Let's add another $55 for another quart of expensive cabinet paint. Like many of you watching this, I'm not immune from some good old-fashioned consumerism. Most red-blooded males yearn for the next tool purchase, like a table saw that doesn't try and kill you, or perhaps a lift kit for a truck to run over your tools. But the thing that I'm lusting over right now, it's not any of those. It's something slightly less masculine, dare I say feminine. Something I have absolutely no idea how to use, which also describes how I felt when I first started selling my products online. When I launched my woodworking courses and plans, I thought building the website was going to be the hardest part. I was wrong. Shopify made it shockingly easy. For those who don't know, Shopify is an all-in-one platform that lets you build and run your online store without needing to know how to code, which means no crying over syntax errors at 2 a.m. I didn't know how useful making customer segments would be. I can group customers together based on purchases, like people who bought my workbench course but not my joinery course, and then I can market to each group specifically. No more sending everyone the same email when it only applies to 5 people. Shopify basically stops you from being that coworker who hits reply all to company emails. And in analytics, I can track patterns for each segment and see what different groups actually want instead of making assumptions, because it turns out my assumptions are usually wrong. It's smarter marketing without me having to actually get smarter, which I think that ship has sailed at this point. And when I needed extra functionality, the Shopify App Store is awesome. Like when I wanted to host courses right on my own site, I found an app called Tavelo. Shopify removed every technical excuse I had for not starting my business. Now I can only blame my decision to spend thousands of dollars building a dog crate if my business were to fail. So Freya wants you to start your trial at shopify.com/Scott Walsh. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Stinky breath. So what is this new tool purchase that might be less testosterone fueled than a table saw? Let me be very clear about something. This is not a delicate hobby. This is industrial equipment, okay? This thing weighs more than my miter saw. It can punch through half an inch thick material like it's tissue paper. It has levers, it requires oil, and it has an accelerator pedal, much like a muscle car. It's a sewing machine, and I am not apologizing for it. Look at this beast. This isn't your grandma's Hobby Lobby special. This is an industrial walking foot monster, Juki LU562. I don't know what that means, but it sounds like a Harley when it runs. And I've never been more excited about a purchase in my entire life. Like any good addiction, it didn't stop at $700. I also spent $300 on tools I didn't know existed a month ago. A seam ripper, a rotary cutter, China markers, a pneumatic upholstery staple gun. Oh, what's that? I'm a grand in and I don't even have materials yet? Let's add another $170 for faux leather vinyl, foam, thread, zippers, and something called scrim. However, let's just use a little guy math here. The machine itself, that'll last me a lifetime. It's an investment piece. The tools, one-time purchases, totally justifiable. So if you average it out over multiple projects, the per project cost drops significantly. Of course, this is my first upholstery project, and realistically, my track record isn't all that good for these kinds of impulsive rabbit holes, which means I just spent $1,200 to upholster one dog crate. Freya might have to stop therapy. I need to recoup costs. Now you might be thinking, Scott, that's so sweet, building custom cushions for your dogs. Let me stop you right there. This isn't for them. This is entirely selfish. I'm a light sleeper, and at 2 a.m., when Nugget decides he needs to shift his butt approximately 3 inches to the left, his claws scraping across the plastic crate sounds like someone keying a car in slow motion. And then Freya hears him and thinks, oh yay, we're getting up now? So now I'm awake, Rachel's awake, the neighbors are probably awake. So yes, I'm spending $1,200 to upholster a dog crate. Custom mattresses, diamond-stitched vinyl panels lining the walls, but it's all in the hopes of deadening the sound of dog movement at 2 a.m. The dogs, they'd be perfectly happy sleeping contorted like a pretzel on an iceberg. This is purely so I can get 6 consecutive hours of sleep. So I've upholstered the walls, now I need to make the cushions they'll actually sleep on. I started with the zipper, and then something happened. I entered what could only be described as a sewing fugue state. I transcended the need to film any of this, not because I forgot to, but because I was above it all. I had evolved into a superior being. I am Martha Stewart! I was having the time of my life making dog cushions at my sewing machine. This is who I am now. And here it is, the complete interior. custom box cushions with zippers, diamond stitched wall panels, every surface padded. Will it keep the dogs quiet at night? That's the $1,200 question. Okay, deep breath. I just spent the last 5 minutes of this video talking about sewing machines and diamond stitching, and I'm pretty sure I can feel my woodworker's cool card actively leaving my body. Time to get back to what I actually know how to do: hardwood. $800 worth of white oak, the stuff that requires powerful saws that can cut your arm off and definitely doesn't involve any zippers whatsoever. One of my woodworking buddies texted me after seeing my Instagram story about the sewing machine. Just one word: why? I said, upholstery. He replied, I don't know what that means, and then he blocked me. So this white oak is getting the full woodworking treatment: jointed, resawed, jointed again, planed, and ripped, all with dangerous industrial machines. This is my redemption arc as a woodworker. There's Scott with the DOWELMAX again, and I can already hear those keyboards a-clicking. Dowels! After the sewing machine, you're now using more dowels? I know, dowels have a bad reputation. We've all been traumatized by IKEA. You've assembled a Billy bookcase shelf at 12 p.m. following instructions that were clearly designed by a mute Swede who hates you, and those little wooden pegs, they're just loose. They don't grab, they don't hold. You're assembling furniture with toothpicks and a prayer. So everyone thinks dowels are weak. But this is white oak, real hardwood with actual wood glue, drilled with precision using a jig that costs more than a whole Billy bookcase. Those cabinets behind me, dowels. 3 years, still there. This workbench I'm standing at, dowels. It hasn't collapsed yet. IKEA gave dowels a bad name, and I'm here to rehabilitate their reputation, one door frame at a time. One of these rails is way wider than the other. And no, it's not a mistake. Some rails are just born that way. It's 2025, we don't judge. The wide upper rail is so I can cut arches into the door frames with a template I made with my Shaper Origin. And why arches? Because Restoration Hardware won't stop emailing me. Seriously, every day a baker's dozen emails that say, look at this $4,000 nightstand with arches. Look at this $6,000 dresser with arches, arches, arches. I'm not sure how I got on their mailing list. I'm not exactly their target demographic. I'm not really the type to spend $4,000 on a nightstand. I'm the type to spend $4,000 building a dog crate, but whatever. Their relentless email campaign has taught me that arches are apparently very trendy in more pedestrian furniture design right now. So the dogs are getting arched doors. Peak 2025 design trends. These frames are obviously incomplete. There's a pretty significant hole in the middle of each one, and I can't let the dogs escape. That's kind of the whole point of a crate. But I can't also seal them in completely because suffocation seems like bad pet ownership. So I need something see-through, something strong, something that screams, I have terrible financial priorities, and I have exactly the thing in mind. It's special, it's custom, it's expensive enough that I considered not telling you about it, but you'll have to wait for the reveal until final assembly once these frames have their finish on them. Trust me, it's worth the wait. Or at least, it better be for what I paid. Each half of the crate needs to be accessed, but not every frame needs to actually be a door. That would be door overkill, or doorverkill as we professionals say. The fixed frames get $25 brass hardware. The actual working doors get these special $55 blind corner Euro hinges, which are really not standard, so it took me ages sifting through catalogs to find the right thing. Forget your fancy precision jigs. I used a deck of cards to space the doors evenly in the openings. If you want to get some for yourself, I stole these from a Best Western in 2016. Flawless spacing, first try. I don't even need to make any adjustments. Job well done, Scott. Finally, these solid brass slide bolts keep the dogs in solitary confinement when necessary. $100, by the way, and that doesn't even buy me the catches that I need to fit my cabinet. So how about another $25 for a chunk of brass to custom machine catches with my Shaper Origin? Completely necessary. I've been so focused on building luxury dog accommodations that I kinda forgot this piece is also replacing a dresser. A dresser with a lot of storage. I'm building 2 tiny drawers. Let's go to Scott with the weather forecast for this decision. Yeah, Scott, the current system is a whopper with a total of 16 cubic feet of storage, while the new front that's moving in only has 2 tiny drawers, each with less than 1 cubic foot of storage. That's a deficit of over 14 cubic feet developing in the bedroom region. Wow, that sounds serious, Scott. What can we expect from this as the week progresses? Yeah, Scott, this low pressure system is expected to produce scattered clothing with no place to go, accumulating throughout the week. And by next Tuesday, we're forecasting one very annoyed wife with 100% chance of I told you so. Severe wardrobe warnings are in effect. Where will the clothes go? It's unclear at this time. Extended forecast? Not looking good, folks. But that's Future Scott's problem. I'm Scott with your storage forecast. Back to you in the studio, Scott. Thanks, Scott. The drawer boxes are white oak from Offcuts, and that's notable because I'm the least sentimental woodworker you'll ever meet when it comes to scraps. Most woodworkers have bins of offcuts organized by species and thickness, but mostly by emotional attachment. I have a trash can that I use liberally. My shop is small. My house is small. I can't afford to keep every single piece of expensive wood just in case. So I regularly throw away small chunks of walnut and yes, white oak without guilt. Other woodworkers see this as wasteful. I see it as the cost of not living in a shop buried under 3 years of might need this someday scraps. But these pieces were right there, right size, and mostly at the right time. The dogs are getting premium drawer boxes that no one will see, not because I'm dedicated to quality, because I hadn't gotten around to throwing these away yet. Timing is everything. Let me hit you with some classic YouTuber clickbait. You ready? I don't get why people don't know this about drawer slides. Except in this case, it's true because I actually didn't know this. I bought these $75 Salice undermount slides. Expensive, fancy, Italian. I started installing them, they didn't fit. So I did something I never do. I read the instructions. Turns out these slides not only need notches cut on the back of the box, but also the front of the box, unlike the more popular Austrian Blum slides. So I cut the notches at the table saw, freehand. You know, the same table saw that tried to kill me earlier. You'd think I'd learn, you'd be wrong. I painted the cabinet frame way back at the beginning of this build, before the doors, before I transcended into Martha. Smart move, right? Let the paint cure while I work on the other stuff. Except the paint takes 3 weeks to fully harden. Before that, it's surprisingly easy to chip, which became a problem because I kept hitting it with things throughout the rest of the build. Hard things, metal things, things with a mass moving at a velocity greater than 0. Like that.
Oh, shit. Oh my god.
And that.
Are you kidding me?
When the weather's half decent, I'll have the dogs tied on in the driveway so they have something to do and sniff while I'm working in the shop. Half the time, Freya sees something.
Freya, enough.
And I have to go deal with it. And this time, as I'm pacifying her in the driveway, out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw something dart into my shop.
There's a squirrel in my shop.
Great. Another neurotic animal drawn to me.
Come on out, buddy. Come on out. You're okay. Okay, don't get hit by that truck.
Look, I didn't want to adopt the squirrel, but I also didn't want to watch it go full Frogger in front of my shop. Just to further seal my status as probably not the safest woodworker on YouTube, here's a technique that I probably shouldn't recommend you try when you want to flatten a board wider than your jointer. First, take off all the safety equipment from your jointer. Second, flattened however wide your jointer can muster. Third, stick down a piece of melamine to your planer bed. Fourth, run through your planer with the flattened part on the melamine. Fifth, remove the melamine, flip the board over, and flatten the original face, removing that lip with it. Again, not a recommended technique. Scott Walsh Media Incorporated is not liable for any injuries, dismemberment, or strongly worded letters from OSHA received by removing safety gear from your machinery. Just to be clear. See that drawer Nuggets giving the side eye to? That's a part of my evergreen workbench, the bench that I've been building this whole dog crate on. It's also a video course, on sale right now for the lowest price ever. Hundreds and hundreds of people have bought it, but what matters more is that I've got dozens of pictures of people's finished benches and they're actually using them and loving them. One person said, "This bench will be the foundation for my shop for years to come." Another person liked it so much they built a second one. A sturdy frame, drawers for storage, tons of work holding, built for small shops, and best of all, it's built with no fancy tools. It's 50% off for Black Friday. Sale ends December 1st. Join woodworkers who are actually building it and are making stuff on it. Links in the description. The funny thing about getting older is that your opinions start to shift. Coffee gets blacker, cars get more practical, furniture details that you once called outdated start looking more appealing. And you start buying things you used to mock. Like another decorative router bit. This is the widest quadruple E New Balance Roman OG bit I could find. The Boomer Special. Turns out, I just hadn't grown into my tastes yet. I had to remove my router's base plate to even mount this thing. It's enormous. Running it, terrifying. The bit weighs more than a small corgi. The air turbulence it emits indicates that it could probably achieve liftoff. But I got through it. Zero blood, zero mistakes. And the top, it looks pretty good. Like boomer level craftsmanship good. I'm sorry, boomers, you were right. I was wrong. I'll be buying pleated khakis now. This is RUBIO MONOCOAT pre-aging formula in authentic number 2. It's not a stain, don't ask me what it is, it's just magic wood juice. Now I know I've fully committed to the classic aesthetic at this point, decorative bits, molding profiles, cargo shorts pending, but I need to draw the line somewhere, and that line is golden oak. The 1980s and 90s nightmare that haunted every suburban home. I know this looks aggressively brown going on, but watch what happens when it dries. Traditional aesthetic meets millennial gray, or as Pottery Barn calls it, our mission statement. Now I'm applying Rubio oil plus 2C and smoke 5%. The mission, eliminate all traces of yellow. No golden oak, not in this house, not on my watch. Affiliate link below if you're also staging an intervention against the 90s. Full disclosure, Rubio sent these to me, but it barely registers compared to the total project cost. The next purchase? Well, that's the real budget killer. This brass mesh is what's going in the oak frames. $480 for a 4x4 foot sheet. Here's the real kick in the nads. I want to cut it diagonal to match the upholstery's diamond pattern, so let me walk you through the math on this decision. When you rotate a square 45 degrees within another square, you waste material on all 4 corners. In this case, approximately 30% of the sheet. 30% of $480 is $144, and that $144 is going right in the trash bin, right next to my white oak offcuts. All that just to match $1,200 worth of upholstery. The math checks out in the sense that none of this math checks out. It's my first time working with this stuff. It's delicate, and if I screw this up, I'll probably just quit right now. Now, I'm sure you've been cognizant of our running total cost of this project, and now I'm just realizing that I forgot a few things and I don't want to go back and redo the animated graphics. So, let's add another $35 in hardware and $220 in truck rentals, because I don't own a truck. For a grand total of, drumroll please, $4,204.
I'm not a smart man.
It's bedtime. Come on. Don't lick the lens.
Oh no! Oh my goodness! That's exciting! Oh, he's cool. Oh, he thinks something's in there. Good boy.
No, they're both the same one. What do you think, bud?
Nice, right? Good girl.
Well, that went better than I thought.